Boy, it was a sticky conversation, boy. But we ain't gotta talk about it.
Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe. He's recently come under fire. He's facing a $50 million lawsuit. So let's get the article for the New York Post. Shannon Sharpe accused of rape in $50 million lawsuit after rocky consensual relationship. Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe has been accused of rape by a woman under the pseudonym Jane Doe in a 13-page, $50 million civil lawsuit. Civil lawsuit is important for filed Sunday and obtained by the Post. The complaint filed in the Nevada State Court alleges the ESPN personality committed the assault, battery, and engaged in the intentional infliction of emotional distress during a rocky consensual relationship that lasted nearly 2 years with a woman more than 30 years younger than him.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently the young lady was like 19 when they first got together, right? The plaintiff alleges Sharpe brutally assaulted her several times at the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. The complaint accuses Sharpe of threatening to delete her multiple times, being manipulating and controlling, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her. Sharpe denied all allegations of coercion or misconduct in a statement through his counsel to the Post on Monday. One time specifically, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in his room, the complaint states. Terrified for her safety, the plaintiff tried sharing her location with friends from her iPhone just in case. But Sharpe saw her doing this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck and told her, "If you ever do that again, I will effing delete you." The complaint claims that Sharpe recorded the two involved in sexual acts together without her knowledge and then shared those videos with his friends and associates without her knowledge or permission. The plaintiff is not the woman that Sharpe accidentally shared audio of an Instagram live stream, quote unquote, on accident while having sex in September 2024, the complaint states. So there's a different woman from the woman that was for IG, right? However, the plaintiff claims she began to end the relationship after that incident because he, quote unquote, cheated when she thought they were in an exclusive relationship.
Oh, my goodness.
And Sharpe relentlessly pursued her afterwards. A woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when she says no even once, that no means no, the first page of the complaint reads. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling the plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he, and repeatedly threatening to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharpe refused to accept the answer no, and forcibly forced himself on her. Despite her sobbing and repeating screams of no, the plaintiff and Sharpe first met at a Los Angeles gym in early 2023, and their conversation took place at the gym when she was 20, according to the complaint. 20, not 19. Which states that Sharpe offered to buy her fake tits if she won a fitness challenge that he proposed. Sandy Flood. If we saw a cut deal. Sandy Flood. Lord have mercy. The civil lawsuit states that the woman visited Sharpe at his Beverly Glen mansion on multiple occasions and that he would physically, emotionally, and psychologically control her. This cycle of control, fear, and submission became routine, the complaint states. Yelling at her, controlling her, forcibly grabbing her by the neck when he got upset, saying he was going to delete her, and asserting dominance became the norm. Sharpe was sued a day before the front office sports reported that he is expected to sign a deal for his Club Shay podcast that would exceed $100 million after his contract with Colin Cowherd's The Volume Podcast Network expired recently. Sharpe, who appeared on ESPN's First Take on Monday, has yet to publicly address the lawsuit as of Monday afternoon. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegations of coercion or misconduct, especially the gross lie of rape, and will not submit to what he sees as an egregious attempt at blackmail, Lanny J. Davis, who is representing Sharpe, said in the statement. He stands firmly by the truth and is prepared to fight these false claims vigorously in court. He looks forward to vindication through due process and a judgment based on the facts and the law. The woman is represented by Micah Nash and Tony Busby. Busby represented more than 20 women, if that name sounds familiar, Tony Busby. Busby represented more than 20 women who sued Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson beginning early 2021. Yeah, you see what's going on here, right? Alleging sexual assault and misconduct. Watson served an 11-game suspension for the NFL in 2022 and was required to pay a fine and undergo a treatment. Must be stated here, Neil, that I'm not a big football fan, but it seems as if Mr. Watson has not been himself since. So, let's hear from Shannon Sharpe because he did release a video. So let's hear what he has to say in said video.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
All right. So we heard from Shannon Sharpe. He also released a statement for your Instagram. So I'm going to read that for you guys as well. And some interesting reading. So if you have, little ears around, just so you be careful little ears what you hear. Put your little ears away, right? So this is a statement, I guess they said, from Shannon Sharpe's IG, and it reads, statement by Lanny J. Davis, counsel to Shannon Sharpe. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me. And this is from Gabriela Zuniga, the text message to Shannon Sharpe, October 7th, 2023. I know you miss this big, juicy ass, $25K for each cheek. Gabriela Zuniga in a text message to Shannon Sharpe on January 1st, 2025. This is New Year's Day. Guess you needed to get that New Year hookup. This lawsuit filed by Gabriela Zuniga, because they have put her name out, even though she was going by Jane Doe to the public. It seems as if Shannon's representatives have decided we ain't dealing with the Jane Doe thing. If you bold enough to come and put my man in court, come and stand by it, right? This lawsuit filed by Gabriela Zuniga and orchestrated by her attorney, Tony Busby, is a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. It's filled with lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and it will not succeed. In her effort to extract a large financial settlement, Ms. Zuniga, I'm not sure if there's the actual pronunciation of this, so if it is not, I apologize. Those of you who know, please write it phonetically in the comments for me. Ms. Zuniga presented Mr. Sharpe with a secretly recorded video of a consensual sexual encounter. We believe the video has been heavily edited and taken entirely out of context, crafted to falsely portray a consensual act as non-consensual. Ms. Zuniga has refused to provide a copy of the full unedited version of the recording to Mr. Sharpe's legal team. So kind of withholding evidence, right? To set the record straight, we are releasing several of Ms. Zuniga's own explicit text messages to Mr. Sharpe that clearly indicate the nature of their relationship was consensual and sexual in nature, and in many cases initiated by her with specific and graphic requests. Contrary to the allegations she makes in her lawsuit, consensual sex continued until January 2nd, 2025, the day after she asked for $25,000 per cheek, as quoted above from her text message to Mr. Sharpe. There are other examples of text from Ms. Zuniga. For example, only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me. I guess that's what you want to me. Thanks from Gabrielle Zuniga to Shannon Sharpe, November 2023. I want to put my tongue in your hole and then marry you. This is a text from her to Mr. Sharpe, January 2024. That's my daddy. F, I want you to put a big black baby in me. This is August 2024. You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. This is August 11th, 2024. I told you, I see your face, Neil, but I told you guys, just brace. Be careful of the ears, what you hear. These messages are just a sampling.
This is what was released, so I can only imagine.
Girl. She's getting down.
Yeah, she gets down. Right? For sure.
Yeah, these messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communications initiated by Mrs. Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by the plaintiff. The edited tape that she secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharpe during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray, as a result of this editing and out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. But Mr. Sharpe now believes her secret taping was all part of her plan set up as part of her blackmail scheme, as distorted by her edited tape, a copy of which she refused to make available to Mr. Sharpe or his counsel. Mr. Sharpe categorically denies all allegation of coercion, and that was in the article from the New York Post. So yes, that is a statement released by Mr. Sharpe's counsel. Right. So having set the table, my brother, over to you. Your thoughts.
No, I think it is incumbent upon us to say first and foremost that obviously we do not condone rape, assault, battery, any physical battery, any emotional battery against women, against men of any kind. We are not men built like that. We do not get done like that. That is nothing that we don't have friends that get. No, we don't endorse that, right? And I find this a very interesting case, right? Because obviously the timing is a bit interesting. He's about to sign $100 million contract. She is suing for $50 million of that. But before I really get on it, I think the first thing that struck me, right, is regardless of if Shannon Sharpe did it or did not do it, my thing is, why are you messing with a woman so young? Why are you messing with someone? I know. We have said in this space, that if you're two consenting adults and you both agree to get down, then it's all good in the hood. That is fine. But I think you have extra to lose when you're a man on your purpose doing certain things. That's number one. Number two, you're in your 50s, brother. You're a man of status. You keep yourself a certain sort of way. Why a 19-year-old? Why a 20-year-old? This obviously wasn't love. This was something carnal, something physical. But why put yourself out there like that, right? Why record it? Well, at this point, it's probably a good thing you did, right?
I'm saying.
It's probably a good thing it did. But and she's the OnlyFans model too. What are you messing with OnlyFans model, brother?
I get it, but I can explain it to you when you finish.
Right. So in my mind, right, that is the part of the thing that I don't really understand. But here we are. It doesn't matter. I personally do not think that this is something that is real. I think that she is trying to shake down my man, as Jana said. But to me, this is a prime example of what you always say, Derek. If you're a man that has something to lose, and you're a man that is on your purpose and you're succeeding in almost every metric in life, there's absolutely no reason for you to jeopardize that, in my mind, frivolously behind a woman. Right? Now, if this was a woman that you were in love with and you were looking to marry and it ended in divorce, et cetera, you didn't protect yourself, that's a different conversation. But to me, you getting got here, if that is the case, I think that you should have been smarter. I think that you should have been more discerning. Now, granted, it was a 2-year relationship. 2 years ago, you wasn't as popping as you are today. But I still think that you need to be a little smarter, gentlemen, when you're out in these streets. I mean, being Shannon Sharpe, you understand? We ain't got that money we ain't got that money or clout. But best believe that you could get got in other ways, right? This woman, by the indication of the statement written and the text messages, she was initiating some of the interactions between them, right? And it seemed like a consenting thing. And it begs the question, Derek, you mentioned in the article, you could have consensual sex 99 times, but last time it fell off.
Mhm.
It puts all of the other things into context that you don't feel comfortable with, right? And that's an interesting topic when we talk about grape and SA in the context of people having consensual relations for a while. And then that one incident happened. He was like, yeah, I don't know if I felt good about the interactions, right? That's a slippery slope. That's a slope that I don't think neither of us are capable of answering. In my opinion, I think that if you had a consensual relationship throughout some years, and then the last occasion, y'all business as normal, y'all was just doing the same things y'all have been doing for the last 2 years, nothing different, nothing new. But then she felt a ways about it and told you, no, I got this theory, I got this practice, right? You know what you're doing. I can thought little things out of school. You know when you're doing your business, right? And then, women's be like, oh my God, oh Lord, stop. I just stop. If you start to holler, I can say, you all right?
Yeah, all right.
You want me to
Gotta
stop?
check. You all right?
You understand? And this, as a man, I really, I've been in the streets, dip my toe, my pinky toe in the street a couple of times, but it just goes to show how precarious that situation can be, not only in the court of law, but the court of public opinion. So I think it is best. Yes, it is all fun and good when the woman say, put that baby in me, or give me the baby gravy.
Mm.
Give me marinate me with some baby gravy. It's all
Dog, call a dog.
that's all
Yeah.
that's all fun and good, right? But I still think that it is important to constantly see, and it ain't sexy, we don't see that in the prawn, this is OnlyFans is that don't really get the
These guys
subscribers.
stirring up. These are
Yeah,
guys stirred up. And
yeah.
cool guys stirred up, and you're like
Yes,
gardener.
you understand? But it is important that every step of the way, you just checking and say, yeah, you good with it, say, I buy the dog color. You serious? I ready to put my baby gravy on some lumps. You know what I mean? Like, I still think it is important to ask the questions, right? Because you don't want, especially gentlemen, especially if you are a man that stand to lose anything, everything. You understand? You ain't gonna be Shannon Sharpe, but don't be like Shannon and be out there. Yeah, in my mind, I think there's a shakedown for real. I think Unc was not paying attention. I think he just, boy, the young girl want a piece of this here, so and get you a piece of this here. But I think that the fact that if parts of it, no, I can see him saying things like, I can delete you if you do this again, and thing saying things out of anger and stuff like that. You shouldn't be doing them things in the first place, right? If you got a woman dealing with and she doing something that you don't like, don't tell she can delete she. Just tell she, all right, very well. That's how you moving. I done with that. So that's my 2 cents.
There's so much news, so many things.
It's a lot. It's a lot. We have to let me talk.
Now here's the challenge, right? I can try to keep it because we want to keep this tight so we can get this out, right? So I can try to keep this tight. I understand, believe it or not, the 19-year-old thing. I understand the OnlyFans model thing, and I'll tell you why. I understand because what Shannon is attempting to do, because he has so much to lose. Shannon is attempting to not get married because everybody know how the marriage thing is, ain't right?
Okay.
Especially when you got money, you married a woman, and it's going to be difficult for a man like that. And this stuff for men in general to know. Every man want to be successful. Every man want to be successful somewhere and successful financially as well, right? So whether you use boats or use dealing leather craft and stuff like that, doing temper yard or whatever, or use a lawyer, whatever. As a man, you want to be successful financially from what you do. So you want to earn. So this is advice for all men. So Shannon is looking to get this, because it's a pay for play situation, right? She's 19. Shannon flash out here, flash out there.
Mm-hmm.
See, she talk again the baby and thing. And that's the next thing. The baby is also the next shit down, because if they don't get married, let me get a baby. Like Jimmy Butler, you talk about the other day. PJ Washington with Brittany Renner. We talk about Anthony Edwards the other day. So the baby is the next way to get the payout if you can't get the marriage and then call for half, right? So if you can't get the marriage and can't call for half, you can't get the baby and get support for 18 years. The next thing is this here, the defamation, right? And what happens is $50 million is a lot of money. I ain't know about you, Neil, but if somebody have violated me the way this lady is claiming, I don't know if there could be a price tag.
But that's another thing. Now again, let us be clear. We have never been violated in that way. So
right. So we don't understand it. We don't get
right.
it. Right.
We
so
can't. We can never understand.
There, right.
But I understand what you're saying.
For me, right. So for me, it's like, you know, if it that hurt, I don't think you could pay me enough, right?
I'd be looking for justice. Yes. I'd be looking for justice. Right? And if money come along, it come along. But I'd be looking to get this predator.
I want justice first, right? Yep. But that might be just me. And then the other side of that, and this is something that Faze all love would have talked about in terms of it being a civil case. If it's a criminal case, then it requires investigation. It requires DNA. It requires proof of what happened. In a civil case, not so much.
Yeah, you just hoping that it goes to settlement.
I pelt on a wall. I hope it stay, right? Yep. So, and this is the advice for men, right? Dave Chappelle on his show years ago has a the love contract.
What's this?
Nothing. It's just a document saying that you're a willing participant in this sexual experience. Maybe.
Well, I am.
Just sign here and here. And initial there for oral.
Oral.
I'm gonna do you too.
Okay.
And the love contract is becoming necessary, right? Because you never know when somebody can say, well, look, I ain't agreed to say. I remember I had a situation with a young lady one time. As I was leaving her house, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. As I was leaving her house, I stood outside and I said to myself, Derek, if anybody sees you leaving here now, right? And this young girl claims whatever, there is no way for you to deny it. It's your word against hers.
And it's really it's literally your word against everybody else. If
you know what I mean? I dare to all hours of the night, she could claim whatever, and then it is on me to try to prove that I didn't do something. You know what I mean? And it's a crazy situation. So as we go up, man, as we come up, as we get more involved and we do more with our lives and we progress and stuff like that, we have to be more disciplined. Because no, this is not the lady that was on the video last year. It's another
life,
right? Yeah. So even though every man won't be successful, and invariably when men won't be successful, they won't be successful so they can have access to the women they want. So even though that's the case, we as men, we need to be more disciplined and say, look, I got something to lose and I can't afford to jeopardize it. Just chasing tail. So it becomes now, and as I said several times on the show, if you as a man got something to lose, you cannot afford to be messing with people that don't.
Shh. Yo, that goes back to something that Tony Dungy said, you know, to Warren Sapp. Be very, very mindful of the women you either don't know well enough or you know too well. You understand?
Yeah. So the important part for men, we are going to have to, because the women like to talk about being equally yoked, right? And I think it's time for men to start looking at the same thing. Stop trying to elevate somebody. You can go deal with women on your level. You look at these successful men. Now, let me say it here, right? I don't believe that these men are all innocent of the things that they're being accused of. I don't believe that, right? I do believe, because we've seen Harvey Weinstein, however you pronounce it, Diddy infamously, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, the list goes on and on, Vince McMahon. And this would be my thing, right? Because we talk about independence and all these things and equality and all that. But where's personal responsibility? Where's accountability in this? Because look at the stuff she was sending Mr. Sharpe. And this 2 years of her sending about a year. Yeah, it started 2023, end of 2023. So it began in 2025. So we're talking a year, a couple months. right?
Mhm.
And the stuff she's saying, yeah, she want this done and that, then the next and the third. Like for me, Neil, I don't know about you, but this I could be wrong. But if somebody, try to me with a firearm next to them, they last and get them,
That mean that I am a testing them, but
If somebody's treating you poorly, you can't. And this for men and women. If somebody come treating you poorly, you cannot continue to go along with the bad treatment. That's this body coerced me and this body forced me. This is part like don't get nobody forcing you to do these things. You're going along a day when the benefits run out. Because this is part of it right now. This is part of it. Because you get benefits up front from dealing with these men. Right?
Mhm.
The lady with Vince McMahon, say $5,000, the boy didn't even know what she's ready to do. But job for $5,000 a year, right? $5,000 a year is good money, Neil.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you consider the average salary in the US is like $50,000 a year.
Yep.
So you get sorted. So you get the benefits up front. Your benefits to him have run their course. So the man is to say, well, enough is sufficient done without it. So you want company back in and claim something that did not happen to you. That has been my problem with these situations.
Yeah.
I talk about believe all women. There's a challenge.
No, I do not believe in all women. I think, as a matter of fact, I'll say this, right? If you're a real feminist, and you're a real woman that want to end domestic, financial, emotional, all of these abuse, you want done all of this violence against women,
You gotta stop stuff like this.
you will have to stop. Because let me be honest, right? Some ladies lie. It may be a little bit, it may be a lot. Regardless, women, just like anybody else on the planet, they tell lies. There are some women out there that want get backsies, revenge, or they just want to come up on a check from a successful man. These things happen. And if I were a real hardcore feminist, well, we are feminists, but you understand what I'm trying to say. If you are somebody that really wants to stop certain things happening against women, you cannot believe all women, because situations that pop up, if this is really a shakedown, this woman is really making bad for other women.
Sure, of course.
She making bad for other women.
You can't, the fact that we are here discussing this news me that we are already past the point where they've made bad for other women. The true real victims, you can't really, everybody know go get through this particular filter because we ain't really sure. The Lord before, from as far back as Mike Tyson, they could think.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we ain't really sure these situations look a little sketchy. And then to say, well, yeah, she probably puts herself in this here. You hear all your victim blaming and all.
Victim blaming. I mean, am I right? I want to be clear. Like, I feel it is important because I know things can get misconstrued, things can get twisted, etc. Right? But there are situations out there where, regardless of the man's status or wealth, there are some bad men out there. There are men that do terrible things to women.
That needs to be said.
Right? That needs to be said. We are not absolving any man of any wrongdoing to any woman. However, what we are saying, by the same token, is that it is unfortunate that we have to put on our skeptical glasses whenever we see situations like this, because depending on the context and depending on how things, like for example, our girl Rihanna, that was blatant. We saw that. We saw the injuries. You know, we saw the evidence. We saw it in real time. We saw it, right? It was no get back seas. It wasn't a lie. You believe Rihanna in that situation because you saw the violence. You saw there was some video of the argument, etc., etc. You know it was a serious something. It was immediately after it happened. She reported whatever she reported, etc. Right? There's a timeline to these things, and I know some people will say,
"Oh, here's the thing, not to cross you, but Rihanna has stuff to lose."
Rihanna has stuff to. I mean, Chris Brown too, but I agree.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
But you say, okay, I don't want to report it because I would lose endorsements, I would lose contracts, I would lose XYZ. Rihanna had all that stuff to lose.
Right.
And she still reported. Same night.
Went straight to the police station, took pictures. I think a friend of hers or whatever said take pictures or whatever like that, and she went to the police. In my mind, right, and I know some of you will say that some women are afraid to go to the police and say certain things and to report certain things. I understand that. But the problem when we have these conversations is that we paint with the same brush. We imagine that it's the same canvas, the same situation, the same scenario in every case, that there's a man doing horrible to a woman. The woman is unable to report it because she's fearful of her life. She's fearful of what he will do to her reputation or whatever. And she does not want to report anything. So she remains and suffers in silence. Let us be clear. You cannot paint every scenario like that because it is not a one-to-one thing. There are situations where a woman is spurned and she just won't get back at the man. There are situations where a woman wants to come up on a check. These are situations that happen. So whenever we have these conversations, we dance and we equivocate, and we don't want to, especially as men, we don't want to have these conversations because we are afraid of
Because you can't say it.
You can't say it, right?
Even with this here thinking that we can go post a disclaimer at the beginning of the day, then post it before you talk, post it, say a disclaimer before you talk, paste the disclaimer halfway through, because to say this stuff is unpopular. You gotta wait for the backlash and all kind of thing. We are not saying that a man should be able to do we feel it with a woman and get away.
That's far from it.
We are saying that sometimes, and this is from a man that has seen and heard some stories from women who have told me some fantastical stories.
Let me tell you.
As far as to say that they're pregnant for you and all kind of thing. Let me say it's happened to me, right? So these women just make up things. We need to stop thinking that women are just pure as driven snow and chaste and virtuous and all that all the time.
Women are human beings here.
Women are human beings like anybody else, and they are capable of telling some fantastical stories. And let me be clear, right? If Mr. Sharpe is guilty of the things of which he is accused, he should be prosecuted.
Prosecuted to fullest extent. He should go pay whatever, lose whatever you got to lose, pay whatever you think. This is on him.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Discipline is required, man. Discipline is required. With regard to the old age difference thing, sure, legal is legal to say there's nothing legally wrong with it. But there might be something morally wrong with it if you say so. But based on the discussions that the young girl here saw dropping in text, she was about it. But some people came in on Twitter and they had this to say, right? Somebody says, the man underneath this post comparing Tracy Ellis Ross dating a 40-year-old to him dating a 19-year-old is why we need another Noah's Ark flood. And she's right, Sandy Flood, because Sandy Flood. Some of the things I've seen today alone on WhatsApp, Sandy Flood. Shannon Sharpe was 50 plus years old having sexual relations with a 19-year-old. 19. Shannon Sharpe is a 50 plus year old man. Girl was 19 when they met in 2023, younger than his youngest kid. He's a mess and I don't feel bad for him. He had no business doing that. Shannon Sharpe is 50, almost 60 some years old, screwing a teenager. Men are disgusting. That's yuck. You're not embarrassed. Okay, at this point, Neil, I want you to just put in Michelle Obama and Tracy Ellis Ross. Just a clip from them.
Reasons. I mean, we've talked about this, that often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God, we had a great dinner.
On that one.
Because I think that needs to be said. Shannon Sharpe is 56. My father is also 56. If my father tried it with a 19-year-old, I'd redacted him. So you see how the world looks at it. Right? Rules for thee, not for me. So it's cool if Tracy Ellis Ross want to date.
But you know why though?
Younger man.
You know why though? Because it's all about power.
Madonna is 60 and had a man 28.
Shoot, Cher.
And all them there. Cher. Always like she man 50 years younger than she and all kind of thing. Everybody's be cool with that.
But there's something to be said though, because a lot of people are going to say the relationships were started when these people were in their 20s, late 20s or 30s, or even 40s in some cases.
But here's the thing.
Hold on.
Girls mature faster than boys. Therefore, at 19, you should really and truly be considered, if you could go and buy alcohol, you could get a license, drive a car, but you can't make a decision for yourself. You old enough to get OnlyFans page, but suddenly know you are not discerning enough to stay away from a 50-year-old.
So this is all about power. This is what this is about. Men are seen as the stronger, more dominant of the sexes, right? We are
when it's convenient.
When it's convenient. But no, I think, laterally we believe that. I mean, some people might want to parrot or say certain things, but people truly believe that men are big, brutish, strong, dominant entities. When you see Cher, Madonna, Tracy Ellis Ross, when they date younger men, it is them saying, I am the alpha, I am the dominant, I am the strong one. When you see Shannon Sharpe does it, regardless of her age, once it was under the age of 40, the point would remain that he is predatory because he is so big and so strong and powerful in the industry. It is all about power and perception. And this is the reason why we have this podcast. And this is the reason why we have come back, because it is not the perception, the brush that we paint situations with, and the way we look at things. We do not look at things critically. We look at this one brush. We look at the color purple and we say every man is Mr. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We just look at every situation and say, okay, this person that has been abused and raped and essayed and all these things, the real women and all the things that have happened, we paint all situations like that. The man that was interfering with the young school girl or whatever, we paint all man by that when we talk about relationships with a huge age difference. But everything is within a context, right? People can say, oh, she legal and whatever, but I don't mean you should be. Come on. At the end of the day, we are all human beings and we have to look at situations under a certain lens. If you truly want to end violence against women, and you truly want to end powerful scumbags doing certain things, you should be calling for justice, not $1 million,
$50 million.
No,
$50 million.
right? No, you shouldn't be looking for that. You should be looking for some sort of justice. And the thing about it is, right, because you hearing people come and say, Unc, what you do? Because I agree. I know Unc messing with a young, strange woman like this here for, because you would had to know that this woman is about running game. Whether it is.
But that's the thing, Neil. I think he's aware. I think he and other powerful men are aware that, look, maybe step into them for one purpose. Hence why she is on the periphery. She is not a steady girlfriend. They're in a marriage coming there, not a soul. He's keeping she at arm's length. This is why they say she is initiating most of the conversations along a certain line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you see she bringing up the price tag at $25,000 per cheek, right? So he is trying his best to keep her at arm's length. So I guess it's the last video, the other woman come out. My girl decided, oh, all right, it's time now.
Nah, man.
Let me get closer this way.
I still believe Unc should have. Me, if I am Unc, I'm in Unc's position. I don't want to get married. I just want to make my content be on my purpose. And if I want a little sign on side, deal with that. Then there are ways and means you can go about doing that. There are little websites that are dedicated to this sort of behavior. All very legal websites and situations you can create with a woman. But to me, I will always be suspicious as a man. And if I ever get to that point of success and notoriety or wealth, where I in the gym pushing weight and a woman just start liking me and we should kick it or whatever. Sure, I attractive. I still feel like upright. Yeah, I might know I am wealthy or whatever, but come on. As you said earlier, Derek, this is not a prawn. This ain't you just see a woman working on your gym. You're like, hey, you should work on your foot. No, it does not work like that. So in my mind, I think we are all, you and I are saying the same things. I think the reason why we are broaching this topic is because we want people to understand. Before you get on X, before you get on social media, TikTok, whatever, and you start talking about how many Asian men are disgusting and whatever, do not paint this with the same brush. Yes, we gotta wait for more evidence to come out. Yes, we have to wait to see how things shake out, right? We ain't saying Shannon Sharpe innocent. If he is guilty, hold him. But by the same token, we have to acknowledge the fact that this young lady can only be trying to come up on a chair all of a sudden because my man up for $100 million contract. And you having been assaulted emotionally and all types of emotional damage or whatever, you do a civil suit for $50 million and not seek justice. You all of a sudden know God's set state.
I'll say this right now. My fear for Shannon Sharpe here right now, based on the lawyer that is representing this young lady as well. The same lawyer that brought the case against Deshaun Watson, right? I suspect we are going to see much like what happened with Deshaun Watson. Is this lady today? 2 days from now, it will be another woman. But the weekend, it can be somebody else.
But that is
Sweet now, we got 7, 8 women like that coming out. claiming XYZ. I know he has to defend himself against all these things. So it is critical, man. It is critical that you discipline and how you operate with. Should we stop about it all the time? Discipline. You have to be disciplined, right?
Critical.
You have to be disciplined. You got to deal with somebody that got just as much to lose as you. As you said, Neil, you got websites for this kind of thing. And it's a literal pay for play. It is either that or risk with getting married to a woman that you could stand. Shoot, Neil got 4 women, but Lord knows many times can come when one of them will say, yeah, enough of this, yeah. Pay me.
But it's a fact though, because this woman calling for half of this man upcoming contract and them married. So he could as well have got her married.
Get married. Get married. Folks, this has been Shannon Sharpe. Well, hopefully it's a short. Shannon Sharpe. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I heard this young chick is trying to hit up Shannon for 50 million smackaroos to ensure that you do not miss any of the content we got coming for you. We can see you guys again soon. Peace.
The contaminated environment in the tutus about that.